Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to make this top, and to get started you'll need your yarn. I'm using this ombre yarn that I got, Red Heart yarn. Your scissors, I'm using a hook size 4.0 mm. You need some stitch markers and your tape measure. Let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is make a magic circle. And in this video you'll need to know how to make a magic circle: single crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet. So you make your magic circle and chain 3. After you've chained 3, you're going to make a total of 11 chains for a size small or a small medium, and 15 chains for a bigger size medium to a large. Alright, so when you have all of your double crochets in your magic circle, you're going to just pull this tight to close the gap. After you've done so, on top of the chain 3 that we made, you're going to make a slip stitch, like so. After you've made your slip stitch, you're going to chain 2. In that same space where we made our chain 2, you're going to make 2 double crochets. You can hide the excess yarn behind as well, or you can leave it for later. So after you've made your first 2 double crochet in the same stitch, in each of the chains around, you're going to make 2 double crochets. So for the size small or the small medium, you should have a total of 24 double crochets. For the bigger size, you should have a total of 42 double crochets. Alright, so when that is completed, on top of the first double crochet, not the chain 2, you're going to make a slip stitch, like so. In the third row or the third round, you're going to chain 2 and make 2 double crochet into that same space. In the next chain, you're going to make 1 double crochet. In the next chain, you're going to make 2 double crochet, and in the next chain you're going to make 1. We're going to alternate between 2 double crochets and 1 double crochets until we're back at this point. So after 1 double crochet, you make 2 double crochet. So at the end, for the smaller size, you should have a total of 36 double crochets, and for the bigger size, you should have a total of 48. After you have all of your double crochets, on top of the first double crochet in this row, you're going to make a slip stitch. And this is what your work should be looking like so far. So after this, you're going to get your stitch markers, and you're going to divide your work by 6. So for the smaller size, you're going to count out 6 of the double crochets. For the bigger size, you're going to count out 8. So from the center here, you're going to count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and mark that. You're going to count out 6 more, and for the bigger size, you'll count 8. So it should look something like this. Now what you're going to do For the smaller size, you're going to chain 8, and the bigger size will chain 10. You're going to remove your stitch marker, and in that space you're going to make a slip stitch. So you're going to repeat, chain 8, and for the bigger size, chain 10. Remove your stitch marker, make a slip stitch, and you'll repeat until you're all the way around here. I'm going to finish mine off camera and then show you what to do after. Alright, so now that I'm at the beginning, you're going to chain 1, and in the gap you're going to follow this pattern. You're going to single crochet, half double crochet for this, 1 half double crochet for the small, and 2 half double crochet for the bigger size. So 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet, 2 double crochet, and 1 half double crochet for the small, and 2 for the bigger size, and then a single crochet. So this is what it should be looking like so far. You're going to repeat this into the next gap here, and you start off with a single crochet, a half double crochet, and remember for the bigger size it will be 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, a treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet, two double crochets, one half double crochet for the small, and two half double crochets for the bigger size, and then we finish with a single crochet. I'm going to finish this off camera and then show you what to do after. So this is what your work should be looking like so far, and to finish it off, I'm going to insert my hook into the center here and make a slip stitch, chain 1, and then cut my yarn, and that will be the flower cup. Now you'll just follow the video again to make the second cup for your top. Alright, so the next part of the top, what you're going to do is to measure the cups together. You're going to take your tape measure to measure the width of it. Right? So you're just going to line them up together like so and measure the width. So mine is about 10.5, but I'll just say 10 inches, right? And then the cup size, the bust size that I am working on is 30 inches. So what you're going to do is to measure this first and then get your bust size minus the measurement that you get for the cups here from your bust size. That size that you got, you're going to divide it by 4. So as I mentioned, this is 10 and the bust size that I'm working on is 30. So 10 from 30 is 20, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So I'm going to chain, make some chain that measures up to the inches, the length that I got, which is 5 inches. So for me, that is about 20 chains. So after you've made your chains, what you're going to do is to get your bus, your cup, your flower, and you're going to can either work on it down this side or here. So for me, I'm going to turn it this way. So in the gap that we had here where we had the 2 treble crochets, chain 1, in that gap you're going to make a double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook into the gap, pull up a loop and make your double crochet like so. And please ensure that you're working on the right side. So after you made your double crochet, you're going to make 3 more double crochets into the treble crochet and the 2 double crochet that we had on the petal. In this space, we won't be putting any double crochets. Instead, we're going to chain 4 for the smaller size and 6 for the larger size. After you've done so, you're going to count out 3 crochet here. So 1, 2, 3. In that crochet, you're going to make a double crochet. And continue with making your double crochets until you're at the gap. In the gap, you'll make 1 double crochet. In the middle, now, we're going to chain 11 for the small and 13 for the bigger size. Over to the next couple, you're going to make a double crochet into the gap. So you yarn over, make your double crochet, and continue with making 3 more double crochets. Like so. I'm going to chain 4 for the small and 6 for the bigger size, and then yarn over and find the 3rd crochet. So 1, 2, 3, make a double crochet, one more double crochet, another double crochet, and in the gap you make 1 more double crochet. So this is what your work should look like so far. So the same amount, well, you're going to make 1 less chain than what you made on this side. So I made 20 on this side, so I'm going to make 19 on this side. So whatever chains you made on this side, you're just going to make 1 less. Alright, so now that I have that, I am just going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn my work, and in the last chain you're going to make a double, the last chain before the chain 3, you're going to make a double crochet. So you're going to continue with making double crochets until you're at the end here. So in each chain, you just continue with making your double crochets. So this is what your work should be looking like so far. And in the next row, you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, turn your work and chain 1. You're going to skip the next double crochet here and make a double crochet in the third double crochet right here. So basically you're going to chain 1, skip 1, and make a double crochet into the next. We're going to form a mesh stitch like so. So chain 1, yarn over, skip 1, make a double crochet. So you're going to continue doing this until you're at the end here. Alright, so after you've completed that, you're going to count the number of chains that you have on the bottom here. And for me, I have a total of 75 chains. When you count the number of chains that you have, you're going to divide it by 6. The remainder that you get, you're going to divide it by 2. If it's an even number, you just put the same amount into single crochets on both sides. If it's an odd number, you're going to put the lesser amount on the working side. So let me show you. So as I mentioned, I have a total of 75 chains, and when I divide that by 6, it is 72. So that means I have 3 chains remaining. So with that, I'm going to divide that by 2, which will give me 2 on this side and 1 on this side. So I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to make one single crochet. Right, so that will mean that I have the remaining single crochet to make on this side. Now for the pattern, you're going to make a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet into that same stitch, and then you make your double crochet, and then a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. The single crochet will start the pattern for the next edging. So this is what your work should be looking like so far. So remember I said that the single crochet begins the next edging for your work. So after the single crochet, you make a half double crochet, a double crochet, a treble crochet, chain 1 treble crochet, and all of that is in the same gap, in the same stitch. A double crochet, a half double crochet, and to start the next edging here, a single crochet. So you're going to continue doing this, and I'm going to finish mine off camera and then show you what to do after. Alright, so the last thing, as I mentioned, I would have 2 single crochets left to finish my work. So I make 1 in the gap and then 1 in the chain 3, like so. So the next thing we're going to do is to make single crochets up to come to this point. So in this space you make 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet at the base here, one in that double crochet, and then 1 on top of the double crochet, right? So after you have that, the next step is to make single crochets until you reach this point. Now what you need to do is to just measure where the double crochet you have here, where it lines up with the petal. You can either take something just to measure it to see where it will line up. I'm going to mark it here. So this would be the 5th double crochet. So I'm going to make single crochets until I'm at this point, and you'll do the same for your work. So in the same gap, same space that I made the last single crochet, I'm going to make another single crochet and continue making my single crochets all the way here. Now that I'm at where the stitch marker is, I'm going to remove the stitch marker, make a single crochet, and I'm going to make a chain to reach the gap of the petal here where I have my stitch marker. Now what you're going to do is to count the number of chains all the way down here to make the chains on this side. So for me, I have a total of 9, so you just count the amount you have and make that chain. After you made a chain in the gap here, you're going to make a single crochet. You're going to repeat the same number of chains that you made here. So 1, in the next gap in the petal, you make a single crochet. After you've done that, you're going to make the number of chains that you need for you to weave in the back. For the small, I'll be making 150 chains. For like a medium or a big cup, you can make about 175. For the large, about 200 to maybe about 225. Alright, so now that you made the first strap, what you're going to do is to make the second one, and to do so, you're going to make a slip knot and make the same amount of chains that you made on this side. Alright, so now that I have the number of chains that I need, I'm going to attach it to the gap here with a single crochet. And I'm going to make the same number of chains that I made on this side. So I made 9, so I'm just going to make the same amount, and you'll do the same. In the last space here, you're just going to find the same place where you made the attachment on this side. So it was the 5th double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where I'm going to make my single crochet. So I'm going to continue with making single crochets until I'm at the end here. And in the last chain here, you're going to make 2 single crochets, and then continue to make a single crochet into that space, a single crochet at the base, and then 2 single crochets in the gap here, and 1 at the base here. Oh no, sorry, and a slip stitch at the base here, and chain 1. So this is how your work should be looking so far. Thing we're going to do now is to work in the middle. So what you need to do is to get your stitch marker to mark the middle stitch, and for me it will be the 6th stitch, since I made a total of 11, so it will be the 6th stitch. So for the bigger size, it should be the 7th stitch. So when you've done that, you're going to get your yarn, you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your slip knot in the middle here, in this petal, in between these 2 petals right here. Just insert your hook, attach the slip knot, and just pull it through and make a chain. When you've done so, you're going to make slip stitches until you're at the gap here. Just going to take a stitch marker to mark the gap, and that's where you're going to make your last slip stitch. So on top of the chains, you're going to make your slip stitches. And in the gap here, make 1 slip stitch like so. You're going to yarn over, and on top of the double crochets in the middle, you're going to make a double crochet on the top of those double crochets. So for the small, you're going to make a total of 5 double crochets, and for the bigger size, a total of 6 double crochets. Like so. Now that we're at the center here, you're going to remove that stitch marker, and you're going to make a treble crochet. You're going to just mark that treble crochet like so. Continue making your single crochets until you're at the gap here where you make a slip stitch. Okay, so now that we've reached the gap, you make your slip stitch and continue making your slip stitches until you're at the 2nd petal here. I'm going to use my stitch marker just to mark that area so I know where to stop. So continue making your slip stitches all the way to the gap here. Alright, so now that I'm at the gap, just going to remove the stitch marker, make the slip stitch in the gap, and for a size small, no, this is not about small or medium, just a size small, you make 5 chains, and you don't want to do it too tight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For medium, you make 6 chains, and for large, you make 7 or even 8 chains. So after you've made the number of chains that you need, you're going to make a double crochet on top of the treble crochet here. So yarn over, I'll remove my stitch marker and make a double crochet there. Make the same number of chains that you made on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to attach this piece to the second petal with a slip stitch. Like so. Continue making your slip stitches until you're at the third petal here, which I'm just going to mark. Like so. So continue making your slip stitches until you're at the gap here. Alright, so now that I'm at the gap here, just going to pull this up and turn my work, insert my hook, and then now I'm going to add 2 more chains to what I made here. So I'll be making a total of 7 chains, and for the medium it should be about 8, for the large it should be about 9 or 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Make a double crochet on top of the double crochet in the center. Chain 7. And then make a slip stitch in the gap on the third petal. Like so. Now you're going to continue making your slip stitches once more until you're at the last chain before the gap here. Alright, so you're going to make your slip stitch into the last chain there, and into the gap you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, and at the base of your chain where you made the strap, you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops like so. For the top, I'm going to chain 15 for the small, 16 for the medium, and 17 or 18 for the large. And remember, this should be not tight. In the center, I'm going to make a double crochet. And then repeat the same amount of chains that I made here. Alright, so what you're going to do now, in the gap, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop. In the base of the strap there, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and chain 1. And cut your yarn like so. And you can weave it in at the end. Alright, so this is how it is looking so far. And to weave it in, all you need to do so thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.